I'm Nate, this is my channel, and I do car stuff. Hey guys, thanks for checking out my channel. Today I'm going to show you all the parts that I got for a new switch panel build and a hidden Bluetooth stereo. Let's check it out. First, let's start out with my old setup and why it's not working for me and why I want to change it up. This is my center console out of the Miata. Usually the air ride controller sits in here, and then I have this switch panel kind of tucked away, hidden in there. I got 3 switches, as you can see. One is for the air ride, one is for the puddle lights. The other one's just empty. I was probably eventually going to use it for interior lighting. To be honest, I love the look of this setup. I love that you can just slide the ashtray closed and you would never know that there's switches there. Plus, it was super tricky to figure out how to mount this piece of wood in there that the switches are mounted to. It's stained the same color as the VIP tray and the trunk floor, which is pretty cool. It was a beast. It was not easy to figure out how to do and to make it sit low enough that the tray would close, but also that there was enough room between the transmission tunnel and the back of the switches. Alright. So my first problem is the switches themselves. They checked all the boxes for what I was looking for. I wanted chrome, low profile, and push button switches with white LEDs, so they seem like they would be perfect. But the problem is the switch itself, the button, sits flush with the housing, and you have to press it down in there to engage it. And when you have giant sausage fingers like I do, it's just not ideal. Big fingers, you know what that means. Little switches suck. The other problem is the wiring itself. A lot of switches like this will come with a pigtail that plugs into the back of it with wires coming off of it for you to solder in. These did not. So all these wires are soldered to these tiny little tabs, which was a huge pain. They also did not have instructions, so I didn't know what any of the pins actually went to. What I wanted was when you turn the switch on, the white light would come on as an indicator. That makes the most sense. I could not figure out how to do that. All I could figure out was to wire them so they're its own circuit. You could send power to the white light inside the switch, but I couldn't figure out how to make the white light come on when you engage the switch. So that leads me to the next problem. I would leave my air ride controller on all the time, and I killed my battery all the time because there was no light glowing in my face to say, hey, you left this on. That is probably the biggest problem of the whole thing. Quick side note, if you're wondering why I have the air ride controller hooked to a switch, it's because I wanted to have full control. I wanted to be able to turn it on with the car off. I wanted to be able to turn the car on and have the air ride remain off. And with the Miata's factory battery location being in the trunk, it made it a little bit more difficult to lay out the airlift wiring harness because it is designed for most cars, and most cars have the battery under the hood, obviously. So the other thing that I want to change is more of wanting Bluetooth feature. This is the factory stereo that is in the Miata. Obviously, I don't use the tape deck or the CD player, and I have a tiny antenna on the car, so the radio barely works. So that takes us up to speed with where we're at now, which is new parts. So I guess we'll start first with solving the biggest problem. New switches. These came from Amazon. No fancy JDM parts here yet. They have a pigtail. Makes it a lot easier to wire them. Let's check this bad boy out. So you can see it's raised and not inset like the other ones. Much better. It's actually kind of a joy. Alright, and then this, some screws. This is a stereo delete panel, so I can take out that old big honkin' stereo that I have no use for, and this mounts in there. This is a sheet of ABS plastic. I found this from a seller on eBay that I believe he designs them in like CAD software and then has them cut out by a machine, so it's supposed to be pretty exact. We'll know when we test fit it. Usual ABS, textured on this side and smooth on this side. You can't ever really use the smooth side unless if you paint it or vinyl wrap it or something like that, because it scratches so easy, as you can see. I mean, that's just from shipping. And styrofoam, I probably actually will be using the smooth side because my plan leads to this. This is gloss marble vinyl. I thought maybe that would be kind of cool to change it up a bit. And I'll use the smooth side and then wrap it in this. It'll look like I have a switch panel made from marble. Or it'll look like I stole my wife's kitchen countertop and made a switch panel out of it. Not that we can afford. Then I got this kit from Amazon. It's just a basic vinyl tool kit. It was only $10. It came with this knife, which you can... These razors are awesome. You can actually use it for tons of stuff. Tint, vinyl, stickers, whatever. It came with like 10 extra blades, crevice tool, squeegees. Never use one of these. This is for when you're cutting the sheets of vinyl. Alright. I also got some of these. These are the same thing that I used for puddle light installation. Just 3-wire weather pack connectors. I also have some 4-wire ones if I need to use those instead. Not quite sure where I'll use them yet, but I know that they'll come in handy. They always do. Then Kenwood Bluetooth amplifier with a controller. This will actually fully replace the stereo, and I mean, I don't listen to anything else other than music on my phone, usually Spotify, so this will stream Bluetooth, and it is tiny. So hopefully I will be able to tuck this up under the dash. Cool thing about these is it's not like a subwoofer amp where you need to run a giant power and ground wire. It just uses the same wiring. So this guy will plug into this, and then this is just a basic stereo adapter that you would use with any aftermarket stereo. I mean, even if you were putting in a regular CD player or something like that, you would buy one of these, wire it to the aftermarket stereo harness. So this will wire to this, plug straight into the factory Miata harness. This is the controller for everything, super basic. It's just got your skip track buttons, play, pause, volume up and down, and then your source button. The amp it has 2 line ins, so you could get the correct cables and basically have 2 auxiliary cables, or whatever else you want to do. I won't lie, this does feel kind of weird for a car stereo, just because it's waterproof, so it has kind of a weird feel to it. It does kind of feel like it should be on a boat or a motorcycle, but I mean, look, it's kind of for a boat or a motorcycle or a car. So the plan is I will cut a hole into this. This sits flush into its bezel. That will sit flush down into the delete plate. I haven't decided how I want it to look yet. Don't know if I'll put this up here and maybe a row of 4 switches, or 4 switches up here and then like a blank space down here. I haven't decided yet. Probably just kind of wing it as I go. So this is the VIP tray that I built a while ago. This is the original ebony stain that I put on it. My idea is I will wrap it in the marble vinyl to match the delete plate. the amp can sit behind it. This little guy hopefully should mount in there where the airbag would be. Side note, please don't tell me anything about how it's not safe to not have an airbag. Well guys, that's all the parts that I got right now. I think it's everything that I need. I'm going to work on trying to put this together. I'm going to try and video everything as I go so you'll see how it comes together, see any bumps or snags that I hit along the way. If you like this sort of DIY car stuff, please like the video and please consider subscribing. I'm going to keep trying to make videos about custom car stuff.
Put the place up.